my gosh, this is such a cool video. I can't believe I get the opportunity to talk about this. This has been the most unexpected day possible, in my opinion, when it comes to Nintendo and the Switch 2. This probably ranks up there as one of the best days when it comes to the news and just unexpected things. We have a major game getting leaked. We have Nintendo talking about a potential Mario game. We have a Nintendo crossover with, you know, we'll get that to later in the video. But before we start this news video, I have to ask, we are trying to hit 17,000 subscribers. So before we go to New York, because next month, if you guys don't know, I'll be filming every day at the Switch 2 line. It's going to be a fun time, so videos every day. And in fact, we've been doing videos every day already regarding the Switch 2. So if you haven't subscribed already or liked the video, would greatly appreciate it. Without further ado, let's jump right into the news. All right, let's update one of the following stories that we had, which was talking about the pre-orders. Now, this had been leaked and heavily speculated, but there was never official confirmation about this. So I feel like we should now talk about this now that we know that this was 100% true. GameStop has posted their listings of the trade-in deals that will be happening when you trade your Switch system for a Switch 2. The Nintendo Switch OLED is going to be $175 trade-in credit. Now, I don't know if this includes with the Power-Ups reward bonus, because if you're a Power-Ups reward, remember, you get an extra 10% on top of that. I don't think GameStop has cleared if this is the total price, even if you are a Power-Ups reward member. So there's potentially more earnings there. The Switch version 1 and 2, they'll be giving you $125 store credit, and the Nintendo Switch Lite will be $100. They've also announced that they're going to be having a way where you can still trade in your system and then still do the data transfer from your old system to the new system. I think this is pretty cool because a lot of people don't like trading in their consoles because they don't get the opportunity to do a data transfer. GameStop hasn't said how they're going to do this, but there will be more updates as we get closer to the release is what they're saying. I think this is an awesome thing that they're doing, and will probably open the door to a lot more people wanting to trade their system for the newer one, especially with all these crazy price jumps. All right, here comes one of our big stories. Now, this game has been rumored to hit the Switch 2, but it was rumored to be a launch title for the Switch 2, and since we know the launch lineup for the system, a lot of people thought this rumor was fake. It seems like this rumor still might be possible. It just might have gotten delayed, but there is now a PEGI listing for Assassin's Creed Shadows for the Nintendo Switch 2. Now, this is obviously a game that has not been announced yet. In fact, I think there's only been one game announced from Ubisoft, and that was the Star Wars Outlaws port, which that is also a Switch game that a lot of people wasn't really sure if it could come to the system. Digital Foundry is talking about how that port is kind of impossible, and it's interesting to see how that game has landed on the Switch 2. And Assassin's Creed Shadows is one of those games that I think a lot of people would have considered to be impossible for the Switch 2 due to the whole power issue that everyone keeps talking about. Obviously, I think the fact that we're seeing Star Wars Outlaws and Assassin's Creed Shadow end up on the Nintendo Switch 2 proved how powerful this system could be. Shadows is a very big game to have on the Switch 2. I know there's controversy surrounding the game. I don't really know what that controversy is. Either way, the fact that that game is coming to the Switch 2 with the whole system is weak is what people talk about is a very big deal and really opens the door to seeing how much games are going to be coming to the Switch when it comes to a third-party perspective, because that's a major title that we're getting this year. And I expect that there could probably be another Nintendo Direct in the summer where we see a lot of these third-party games get announced, because rumors are that a lot of the developers did not get kits for the system till earlier this year because Nintendo was trying to keep the system under wraps. So the fact that we're seeing all these random third parties start to get leaked, big titles such as Assassin's Creed coming to the Switch 2, I think is super exciting. I think we're going to see Ubisoft utilize the Switch 2 hardware and get a lot of games that they wanted on Switch 1 over to Switch 2. So I'm expecting a lot of ports. In fact, I think Assassin's Creed Mirage could very likely be coming to the system this year as well. Another game that I think Ubisoft will be putting out onto the system are the Division games. There was rumors that they really wanted those games on the Switch 1 back in the day, but the system couldn't handle it, so we never saw those games head to a Nintendo platform. However, I think the Division 2 will definitely come to the Switch 2, And I know that one might be one that people are like, why? Why are they putting this on here? It's such a late game. I think it's just going to be something that Ubisoft really does a lot of ports for. Ubisoft has been reportedly loving the Switch 1, and I'm sure that they love the Switch 2 if they love the Switch 1 so much. So you'll see things like Rainbow Six Siege. You're going to get a lot of ports from Ubisoft when it comes to the Switch 2. So be ready for that. Me personally, I think this is an exciting announcement to see, and I think we're getting it very soon considering it's already been rated, whether that's from a Nintendo Direct, or I know Ubisoft has their own Directs now, or it might just become a tweet. I think this is really cool, and I can't wait to see what other third-party games come to the system, because if we're seeing a game like Shadows within the first year of the Switch 2, I just don't think people are realizing how big of a deal that is, that we're seeing a game like that on the system. It shows how powerful it is. It shows that it's not what people have been saying where it's a weak system. This system is great, and I think it proves the whole point that it's on par with an Xbox Series S, which I think is absolutely incredible coming from Nintendo. All right, another big story that a lot of people are going crazy over is that Doug Bowser was asked, when is a Mario game coming to the Switch 2? It's obviously been noticed that the big mainline Mario games have not been showing up for the Switch 2 yet. You got Mario Kart, but that's kind of like a spin-off, not a mainline Mario game. Typically within these first year of the Switches, or just any Nintendo console in general, always has a big Mario game, whether that's a 2D or 3D experience. And so far we haven't had that yet. And Doug Bowser was asked about it, and he told people to stay tuned. Now, I know a lot of people are having high hopes that a 3D Mario game is coming out this year. And to be completely honest with y'all, I don't know if we're really getting one. I mean, let's look at the Nintendo calendar right now. There is a lot of Switch 2 games that are supposed to come out this year. In fact, I think there's like 5 or 6 games, and the Switch 2 is coming out in June. I don't think they're going to want to release multiple games within the same month, if I'm being honest. But who knows? I just don't think that Mario is going to happen this year. But at the same time, it's hard to say that Mario is not going to happen this year considering it's the 40th anniversary of Mario. Nintendo has always released some sort of game for the anniversary of Mario. The last 15 years have been doing that, and probably more than that, honestly. Obviously, you had the Super Mario Bros. Anniversary Collection for the Wii. You had Super Mario Maker that came out on the Wii U. That was Mario's 30th anniversary game. The 35th anniversary was 3D All-Stars. And the 40th anniversary, there has to be something, right? But then if you look back at the calendar, you're just like, how do they fit a Mario game with that? Because something you also got to consider is the Switch 1 is getting games too. I don't know how they're going to pull this off. At the same time, you also have the brand new Donkey Kong game that's coming out that seems like it is developed by the Odyssey team, because it has a lot of similarities to things that Odyssey has and just has the Odyssey vibe to it. I don't know what's going to go on with Mario. I hope there's a 3D Mario game or just something Mario this year, but I wouldn't be surprised if there isn't. At the same time though, I do think we're getting a Direct June, July, and that would be the perfect time to announce Mario over there. And that could be the holiday title. I don't really know what Nintendo is going to push as their holiday title for this year, because I don't think Kirby would be a big system seller for them. But I could be wrong. I know Hyrule Warriors is also coming out during the holiday, and they might push that as like a, ooh, it's a Zelda game for Switch 2. Even though, you know, it's Dynasty Warriors. They could get away with marketing it as Zelda because it has the Zelda characters. I don't know. It's one of those weird things that I'm truly unsure about what the future of Mario could be. I know a 3D Mario game is coming. It's just with the release of Donkey Kong and the fact that we seemingly have the whole schedule for this year, I don't know how they fit Mario, but I hope I'm wrong. And then this last story has to be the coolest, most unexpected thing. I literally could not believe what I witnessed. You guys are aware of the 1991 Super Nintendo commercial that has Paul Rudd in it. That was actually Paul Rudd's first acting job ever, which was a Nintendo commercial, and now you see the type of actor that he is now. The never-aging actor. Also, the actor that's been in Ant-Man, Ghostbusters, and so many other things. He's become a well-known actor, and I think he's mainly known for not aging. But Nintendo has hired him for the Nintendo Switch 2 commercial. They literally just randomly dropped on Twitter a Nintendo Switch 2 commercial featuring Paul Rudd, and it pays tribute to the Super Nintendo commercial. It was the coolest thing ever. Paul Rudd is wearing the same outfit and trying to have the same hair that he had in that commercial. They also had the guy from Brooklyn Nine-Nine in the commercial. There might have been more actors, but to be completely honest, I wasn't aware of the other two people. But I did saw the Brooklyn Nine-Nine person, and I did see Paul Rudd, which is just absolutely crazy. I'm so curious to see how much they paid Paul Rudd for that. If it was just something Paul Rudd did just because of the history of that commercial that had in his career. If he did it for fun. Obviously he got paid. I'm just curious, you know, he's not known to really do commercials unless it's something for the Super Bowl. I thought it was super cool to see Paul Rudd do this because I'm telling y'all, from a money standpoint, this was probably like nothing compared to what he's making. So I think that's just so cool that he's doing it. Like, it was clear he didn't do it for the money, if that makes sense. Obviously, this means Nintendo is now marketing heavy the Nintendo Switch 2, so we're gonna see a lot of weird commercials most likely if they're already filming things with actors. I'm curious to see what other cool commercials could be happening. I know during COVID, they did one with Brie Larson. I think they did one with Serena Williams during COVID also. I think we're gonna see a lot of just unexpected celebrities in these commercials that are also big fans of Nintendo. So it's gonna be interesting to see, probably with the rest of the year, what the marketing's gonna look like. I remember before that they had John Cena randomly at the Nintendo Switch Experience events, and I'm very curious to see what they're gonna do here, what the commercials are gonna be like. Especially since we got this one, which was the most unexpected thing, honestly. I never in a million years would have expected to see Paul Rudd back at a Nintendo commercial. But it is really cool nonetheless. And Nintendo even tweeted out the old commercial with the new commercial, the side-by-side comparison. In fact, I think they even uploaded the old commercial on their YouTube page. So Nintendo is really going all out with this commercial, and it is honestly the coolest thing that I have ever seen when it comes to the Nintendo Switch 2 right now. This was S tier promoting from Nintendo. Guys, that's everything I have for you today. What did you think about what we talked about today? How do you feel about the commercial? What do you think's going on with Mario? With Ubisoft having Assassin's Creed Shadows coming to the Switch 2? I mean, I would say that this is 100% going to happen since it has a PEGI listing. It's kind of hard to ignore that. What third-party games do you want to see happen, or Ubisoft games? There's a lot of questions that I'm asking you guys in the comments down below. So I'm curious if you guys are going to answer every single question I asked. You probably don't even remember what I just asked you. But if you answer the 3 questions, I will heart your comment. I'm going to try to remember to do that. I get a lot of comments, but I'm going to try to heart your comment if you reply to all 3 questions. Guys, I have been talking for way too much. Make sure to backslash that subscribe button, like the video, check out the Twitter, check out the Discord server, Instagram, all that good stuff in the description below. Monado Marine membership, become one, $5 a month, helps the channel tremendously. It's becoming a member, if you guys didn't know that. It's like Twitch's or YouTube's version of Twitch subscriptions. If you want to do it, it helps out a ton. All the money I'm making on this month of YouTube is going straight to the New York City trip, where I'll buy the Switch 2 over there, film all those videos. Very expensive trip, but it's going to be so fun. Guys, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace. Still think it is so cool that they got Paul Rudd. This is so unexpected.